Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. It is December 11th. The sun has set. It's like 4 o'clock. I love these short days, don't you? Truck stops are full at 3:30 in the afternoon, you know? Love it. So I've been running really early schedule this week. I've been getting up at like 2 in the morning, running it out. So I'm about ready to call it a day. I'm going to get up in the morning, run real early. Don't really have to, and I'm going to stay on that schedule. Couple things I want to talk about in the video today. The flip-flop crew, a screaming match at the cat scale, and the loads I've been doing. So let's get to it. Number one, the flip-flop crew, the guys who don't take trucking serious, the guys who don't think of it as a career. If you're riding down the road with your cell phone in your hand, you're obviously not taking it very serious out here. This is my career. I've been doing this for almost 14 years. The beginning of February in 2020 will be my 14th year. Take it serious, guys. I've seen so many people just today on their cell phone. I've seen 3 guys in trucks today with their cell phones up on the side of their head like this, blah, 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 blah. And they're typically speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, and swerving all over the place. It's not a good look. And, man, I wish they would write more tickets for that bull crap. That's what I call the flip-flop crew. You hold your steering wheel in one hand, your cell phone in the other, you got your flip-flops and your sandals on, and, your insulated fingerless gloves and whatnot. You're just take it serious. It's a job. The glove part I joke about, I don't know. If you want to wear fingerless gloves, go for it. Everybody's got their things, but because at least if you got on the gloves, you're taking it serious. I'll give you that. But the other thing, with the flip-flop crew is they're always in the middle lane on a 3-lane road going 10 mile an hour slower than everybody else. If you're that guy, do me a favor. Reach down, grab this little knob over here by the steering wheel, push it upward, the one on the left, push it upward to indicate you're moving to the right, and then actually move to the right. And, I hope the audio quality's good on this video right now, guys. I've got everything off in the truck, but my neighbor over here in this other truck, he's got him an older Volvo V&L, and it sounds like a bucket of bolts on a paint shaker. The engine doesn't do it. There's a piece of that truck that is loose that a bolt needs to be tightened down on, and it just, it just sounds like, heavy metal, and not the Sammy Hagar type. Like, it just sounds like something's loose. But anyway, so yeah, I got to the flip-flop crew. Take it serious, man. Take it serious. It's dangerous out here, people's families are riding up and down these roads, and you're out here swerving like Irvin on your cell phone. It's not a good look. So, sorry about that. Next thing I want to talk about, I'm going to give a couple shout outs real quick to a couple trucking channels now that I got you hooked on this great content. Number one, Trucking Answers. I support these channels that I'm telling you right now because they support me. They give me shout outs, stuff like that. They're way bigger channels than mine. You've probably heard of them all already. I'm probably not really, cracking an egg of knowledge on you here. But number one, Trucking Answers. Check that out. Mark over there gives you the best information as far as trucking. You will know all the new regulations. You will know all the mergers and all that good stuff going on in the trucking industry, trucking business. Very informative channel. I do recommend checking that channel out if you haven't already. It's almost a necessity at this point if you're a truck driver. The second one is the Asian Mai Show. Or maybe it's just Asian Mai. I thought it was Asian Mai Show. I don't know. Asian Mai. Very funny channel. Got some great videos. Really makes you think about some stuff, even outside of trucking. He is a household mover, so they give you a good aspect of, you can be in trucking and not run, drive in, reefer, flatbed. It's more of a niche category there, and he is an owner-operator in that. So not only do you learn a new industry, He throws some numbers at you from time to time about some of the loads he does. Very interesting stuff. Check that out. The third one is BOC. He gave me a shout out the other day. I definitely got a bump in numbers. Man, he's got some loyal followers. He said, go check this guy out. And I mean, like, a flock of people came over. I hope he uses his powers for good because, he's definitely got some loyal followers there. Very interesting channel, though. The guy used to be JB Hunt driver, company driver, and decided to go get his own authority, bought a truck, went the whole way with it, Very interesting. He puts a lot of numbers out there, and he also talks about some of the contract stuff he does. He says I have a southern accent, but I don't hear it. Check those channels out, guys. Those are 3 really good channels. There's more out there that I really enjoy. I may do some more shout outs here in the future. Not a huge fan of shout outs, but as far as being an information-based channel, I do like to get it out there from time to time that there are some really good ones. If you haven't seen them, check them out. Now let's get back to my screaming match at the scales today at the Flying J off exit 240 on I-65 in Indiana. So I pull in behind this guy. We get off the ramp together. He makes the light. I don't. Or I had to wait at a stop sign. I can't remember if it's a stop sign or a light there, but he pulls in, he gets on the scale, he pulls off the scale, but stops right in front of the scale like he pulled up like he just fueled his truck. Goes in, proceeds to be inside the store for more than 15 minutes. I know that because I clicked off duty after I realized he went in the store. I had 15 minutes of off duty there. I don't know what he was doing in there. Man, this guy was annoying. Man, I swear to God, I was born in the wrong times. If I was a Viking, I'd be digging a hole to put him in right now. I push the button again, and I tell the lady on the scale, hey, can you page this guy because, I'm blocked in. There's a guy behind me trying to scale. This guy needs to move his truck. She says, yeah, he's here right now. He's trying to get his scale ticket right now. And this was like 15 minutes in at this point. So I say it really loud because I know they can hear me in there. He can hear me if he's at the counter. I said, well, tell the idiot to come move his truck. And so he comes out. He proceeds to tell me he's a paying customer and he can park anywhere he wants to for as long as he wants to. This guy drove for Transportation Logistics. If you see him out there, he's in a red Volvo, Transportation Logistics trailer. He's about 5'0" tall. He's got little yellow, almost look like popcorn kernels for teeth, like Orville Redenbacher and a dolphin had a love child. I went off on him. I was like, dude, you don't have the right to park there. That's like, no one would park there. Not only was he blocking me, he was blocking 3 of the 4 bays to get into their shop. And then after that, we screamed at each other for a while. I'm not too proud of that. If you argue with an idiot, they'll just bring you down to their level. But I would like to think I'm smarter than that. I would like to think that I'm more reserved than that. But apparently, the time I spent living in California and the time, living in Minnesota now, I guess there's still part of me that's a redneck because I went off on the guy. And he deserved every bit of it. I don't feel like I taught him a dang thing. I feel like he probably goes through life thinking he can do whatever because no one can check him. It's like, if you're an a-hole, who really checks you these days? Because, with the current legal system, if I would have punched him and, knocked his corncob teeth down his throat, who would have won that? I would have felt good for about 10 minutes, but then probably I'd been paying his bills for the rest of his life, from, bouncing his head off the concrete 20 to 25 times. There's no winning in that. So he gets to go through life being an a-hole. Hopefully, I hope that, somehow life changes him and makes him understand that you can't just go around screwing over people like that. And, finally, he wouldn't even leave after we argued and we screamed at each other for a while. He sat in front of the scale for about another 5 minutes, just because he could, just because he knew I was blocked in. So I went and asked the guy behind me. I said, hey, the guy in front of us that's been at the blocking us for 20 minutes, he's going to be more of an a-hole than he already is. And could you back up so I can back off the scale? Obviously, the guy, that guy wasn't a complete turd. So he moved back 20 or 30 feet. I backed off the scale. I did make it a point to pull between the building and the concrete wall to block the a-hole from being able to get out of the parking lot. So I did feel a little better on that revenge. I sat there for about 10 minutes because no one else was coming. I was just blocking him. And he'd sit there, flipping me off for 10 minutes. And I was just waving at him. I was like, remember me? But, I wish, oh, man. I wish I could have rearranged his face like a Mr. Potato Head. But, who wins in that other than me feeling good for about 10 minutes? So, that was what happened at the Flying J today. One good thing did come of it. One good thing. The lady that worked the cat scales inside, she said that he was very rude to the people inside as well when he was getting his fuel receipt, his scale receipt, and his cash advance. She said he was being a real obnoxious, trying to tell them that I shouldn't be talking to him like that because he's a paying customer and what, he was thinking they should defend him. So she said they watched me scream at him on the camera in there for about 10 minutes and, hey, I got a free soda out of it. She goes, you want a fountain drink or a coffee on the house for that? And she's like, I'd give you something stronger, but, we don't sell alcohol here. So, I did get a free soda out of it. So, thanks for that, Flying J. Shout out on that. But that's why I don't go to Flying J Pilot. Every time I go there, I end up dealing with somebody like that. It's just it's to the point now to where, I went there because I'm like, hey, I want to get one of those chicken salads they sell up at the front of the store there, under that greasy pizza. So I'm gonna grab me one of those salads. That's why I stopped there. I really didn't even need to scale the truck. The load I got is 30,000 pounds. I just didn't know how it was loaded, so I was like, hey, $12 just to make sure I ain't over. It was a 31,000 and some change load. I got it on right now. I was actually really well balanced, but the trailer was sealed when I picked it up. You know how that is. The axles are all the way back. And, oh, thank God that truck turned off. But, you know how it is when the axles are all the way back and, you don't get to see it. It's sealed. So I did the best I could with it, kind of estimating because it's a floor stacked load. So I don't know how far back it goes or anything along those lines. So, yeah, probably won't stop at the Flying J again for a long time. I was thinking, hey, I'm going to stop at the Love's at the 2:30 and get me some hot dogs. And then I said, I'll do the right thing. I'll get a salad. Well, let me tell you, after screaming at somebody, I'd have probably been better off just to get the hot dogs, and that would have probably been a less stressful day. It'd probably been better for my heart to eat hot dogs at that point. Shout out to Roller Wiener Monday, right? But anyway, after all that was said and done, here's what I've been doing for the last couple days. Like I said, I've been getting up really early. Last video I had, I was running a load into Minnesota. I got that done. I called in the day before, said, hey, I'm going to be there at 3 in the morning. How about getting me a trailer preloaded with a local guy or maybe something like that? That's what happened. They went up and got a load preloaded for me. So I got in and out of Minneapolis, St. Paul before traffic got bad. I went into the yard. I dropped my trailer, dropped some paperwork off, grabbed some paperwork, grabbed a preloaded trailer, and got on down to Indianapolis. I drove about 4 or 5 hours of it the day before yesterday. got right down there to close, pretty close to it. Yesterday, I was way early. I got down there at it was a live unload. I could have been there at about 3 o'clock yesterday. The appointment wasn't until 9 o'clock this morning, so I was way early. So got up, done that this morning. Live unload in Indianapolis. It was packaging materials, very quick unload. I like that place, other than the appointment's a little far out on it. But hey, it's nice to catch up on some sleep sometimes too. I got to watch the Irishman movie on Netflix. And my review, that movie needs to be edited. I don't need a lot of that information to get the movie. It's like a 3.5 hour movie. They could have made that a 2 hour. You let me edit that, that's a 2 hour movie. You know what I mean? I don't need to see Robert De Niro counting pills and putting them in a weekly pill thing. We could chop out some of that. Some of that's a little fat. We could trim that up. But anyway, got to watch that. I wouldn't tell you not to watch it, but I wouldn't watch it again. I don't know. It's one of those things that's so long. It's 3 hours and 40 minutes or whatever. So, I watched 2 hours of it, and I was like, man, this has got to be getting close to the end. And then I click on the time, and I'm like, whoa, I still got an hour and a half to go with this. So I was like, pause this, come back to that later. I'm taking a nap. But got that in. That was a quick load down there this morning. Unloaded it probably an hour. It was 28 pallets. As soon as I hit the dock, I was the only one there. As soon as I hit the dock, they had 2 forklifts on it. It went super quick. Got out of there, 27-mile deadhead, about a 30-mile deadhead up to Lebanon, Indiana. Had a dropping hook there. Again, in and out, no time flat. Maybe at that facility for 15 minutes, if that. What's it take to, unhook a trailer? Literally, they have you back your trailer in to the door next to the one your trailer you're pulling's in. So they just keep alternating back and forth on doors. Every time somebody brings in an empty, they put it in a... it's like, back it in, drop it. Literally, your trailer you're picking up is right 3 foot over from where you're at, and you hook up and you're out the door. While you're doing that, they're printing your bills, and literally, you pull up at the guard shack. On the way out, he hands you the bills. He checks the seal on the trailer because the trailer's already been pulled forward and sealed. And, whoa, man, that was an efficient facility right there. I wish they were all like that. And then I ran it out. I ran out every hour I had. I'm parked right now in Wisconsin. Time used for the week, for the last 8 days right now, is 69 hours and 59 minutes. I'm not even playing. If my Qualcomm was on right now, I'd show you. But it takes that thing about 40 minutes to fire up. It's a really old Qualcomm. I think it's the same one the 3 wise men used when they rode into Jesus' birth. I think it's the same Qualcomm they had on their donkeys. But hey, it fired up out of nowhere. It must have heard me talking about it. So rode that up today as far as I could get it. I'm going to get up in the morning at about 2 o'clock and run it the rest of the way in. That way I don't have to deal with Minneapolis traffic. I've really been trying to be more efficient on, major cities. I ran Chicago today at noon. I ran it yesterday at 11 o'clock. Really, really, really been trying to, be efficient with my hours and, make sure that everything I'm doing is the most efficient possible. And, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you saw that or not. That was my time used. 69 hours, 59 minutes for those non-believers out there. That's what we do. That's how I run it. That's how I operate. 1 minute left when I pulled into this parking spot. And you know what really ticked me off is there's not a truck stop a half a mile down the road closer that I could stop at. But anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off here now. It's been a long rant. Appreciate everybody watching. Be sure to check out those channels. Share, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Take care of each other out there, guys. Until next time, later.